Hello students. So now I'm going to start the shared memory MIMD machines. So in that case we will understand about the uniform and non-uniform access. Yes. So now let's discuss about it. So shared memory MIMD machines can be divided into two categories based upon how they assess the memory. Okay, multiple input, uh, multiple data. Okay, so it can be divided into two categories. So one is your uniform memory access, UMA systems. All memory access will take the same amount of the time, and to realize the advantage of a multiprocessor system, the interconnections network must be fast enough to support multiple concurrent access to the memory, or it will slow down the whole systems. Thus, the interconnection network limits the number of the processors in a UMA system. Okay. So in a uniform memory access system, all the memory access takes the same amount of the time. So that is a problem basically, and because of this case, the structure becomes very slow. Okay. So the interconnection network must be very fast for that case. Whenever we have UMA kind of thing, then our interconnection network must be very fast. So of the order of the 1 gigabits per second, 1 Gbps or something, and hundreds of megabits per second. Then only this type of architecture is possible. The other categories MIMA machines are used for non-uniform memory access and NUMA systems. While NUMA machines see memory as a contiguous addressable space, each processor gets its own piece of it. Okay, so there are number of processors because whatever we are talking about is the multiprocessor architecture or the multi. So in that case, every multiprocessor has every processor has its own memory space. Okay, definitely then the then the speed of the system will be increased significantly. Thus a processor can access its own memory much more quickly than it can access memory that is elsewhere. Not only does each processor have its own memory, it also have its own cache. So that is also one of the advantage, a configuration that can lead to the cache coherence problem. So that cache coherence problem we have already discussed in our unit 4, and in that case what we will discuss about that case, that in your non-uniform memory access is more faster than that of the uniform memory access. So when a processor cached value is updated concurrently with the update to memory, we say that the system uses the write through cache update protocol. So if the write through with update protocol is used, a message containing the update is broadcast to all processors so that they can update their caches. Okay, so that is a write through protocol basically. If the write through with invalidate protocol is used, a broadcast asks all processors to invalidate the stale cached value. Write invalidate uses less bandwidth because it uses the network only the first time the data is updated, but retrieval of the fresh data takes longer. So write update creates more message traffic, but all caches are kept current. Okay. So another approach is the write back protocol. So these two protocols are for the to tackle the problem of the cache coherence. One is write through protocol and another is write back protocol. So in the write through protocol, when there is any need to be changed in a cache memory, then a message will be passed to all the processors that you should that it should change its it should update the cache, their cache, and if the data is validated. If it is not validated, then it is needed to be fetched from the main memory, and because of this the data is invalidated, and the processor again will show a invalidated data to other processors, and other processor also do not update their cache in that case. Okay, so now in the write back protocol, that delays an update to memory until the modified cache block must be replaced. At replacement time, the processor writing the cache value must obtain exclusively writes to the data. When writes are granted, all other cached copies are invalidated. Okay, so this were the our MIMD machine. These were our MIMD machines. So this is multiprocessor machine. So in my next lecture I will tell you about distributed computing. Thank you for this lecture.